Welcome back to Bristol, where it's been a tough weekend for Clint Boyer. Last night, his beloved Jayhawks dropped the game to Krista's alma mater, Northern Iowa. And this just happened to the 33 going off into the corner.
Well, as my good friend Jake Elder used to say, she blowed up.
I mean, there was no question on that one. Pretty lucky some cars didn't get in that oil. Clint was actually running in the 30th position. Started the season with 3 top 10s, had the problem in Atlanta. Now this, came in here 5th in the points. He's probably going to be well outside the top 12 when this day's over.
Second caution of the day allows Robbie Gordon back on the lead lap with the free pass. There's Clint Boyer walking over to survey the damage.
You know why Michael was looking at that? Michael just pitted there, parked just a little bit ago. He said, went back out and ran about 10, 15 more laps. That's another spot.
Maybe 2.
He's still got his earplugs in.
Yeah. He's doing the, right now he's doing the math.
Hardly anybody pits. Terry Cook, Casey Mears on pit road, Kevin Conway. We'll take this break from Bristol. We'll be right back to Thunder Valley. We're ready for the restart, and a little Thunder Valley crank it up at Bristol with 62 laps complete. Green flag. Caution flag. So Jimmy Johnson reestablishes his position out front. Now Jeff Gordon in second, and back at 6th, David Rudiman up ahead of Tony Stewart. And
I've been watching that 14 car, Tony Stewart. He started back in the 11th position, and that car has been pretty good since the drop of the green flag, but he's been patiently passing cars.
You know, Larry, and we keep saying, you know, this team doesn't seem to be performing maybe as well as it did last year, but I really think they are. They just kind of got a little different routine this year than they had last year. I think we expect him to be up there running in the front and leading the race.
I think you're spot on. Last year at this point, it was not expected. Brand new race team, it was expected with both of those teams making the chase last year. Because he comes in here well up in the top 10 in points, Tony Stewart.
70 laps complete this time by. Krista caught up with Clint Boyer.
Well, first it was his basketball team, now his race car. I know it's been a tough weekend for you overall. A change the spindle. What happened here?
Yeah, it's just been a tough weekend from the get-go. He was a little bit off, but just really proud of these guys. They never gave up. They fixed the car. We were fast. We were marching to the front and passing cars, and just unfortunately the motor blew up. But hey, I want to hats off to all the guys back at ECR's shop. They've been working hard and building better horsepower for us, and things happen. We pride ourselves on having no DNFs and things like that, and things happen. They're asking a lot of these engines, and it's amazing they could do what they do. But just feel sorry for BB&T and Cheerios, everybody involved. Thought we was gonna have a good day.
Thanks, Clint.
You know, they came here with a lower gear, which means the engines are going to turn more RPM. And I'm looking at lap times, and they haven't fallen off very much. We're still running around 16 flats, 1580s. That means you're turning that engine about 98, 9900.
The pace is definitely faster than it was in yesterday's practice. Well, remember, it was very hot and sunny yesterday, very cool and overcast today.
Second place, Kurt Busch goes after Jeff Gordon. Tried the bottom of the racetrack and dropped back in line. Here he goes, taking 2 different grooves. And Busch just not able to gain much.
But you know what? I think you've got to make up your mind. And I believe running the bottom, I know it's tough and it's hard to pass. I'd keep working on my car till I could run the bottom, because that's going to be where you can win this race from.
But you know, Darrell, I think that's also contributing to the pace. In practice yesterday, there wasn't enough rubber to run the top, so the guys they had to run the bottom of the track for the most part.
Yeah, it's almost all the way up to the top now. Got a good black skim of rubber on the track.
Now, if these two keep discussing second place, David Rudiman is going to reel them in. Rudiman has driven away from that Montoya, Logano, Stewart, and Biffle battle behind him.
You know what's amazing with those two guys battling for second? Of course, they have more wins than any of our active drivers at 5 apiece, Jeff Gordon and Kurt Busch. And I look up there at Jimmy Johnson leading the race. Jimmy has 16 starts here. He's never won here. And he said he tried for about 3 or 4 years to come here with Jeff Gordon's setup. Why not? Man's won here 5 times. Finally, a year ago, they decided that that was not working for Jimmy Johnson's style. They went a totally different direction last year.
And the other thing that I heard him say, Larry, was that this track didn't fit his rhythm. That he couldn't find the rhythm at this racetrack. And that, as a driver, I know exactly what he means. That I just can't figure out how to drive in, where to get the gas, where to get the brake. Drive in too hard, don't get in the gas quick enough. It just hadn't figured that out. But today looks pretty figured out right now.
Mark Martin in the 5 makes the pass on Brad Keselowski, but Matt, I'm impressed with how well Keselowski is doing on the tires with which he started the race.
Different pit cycle, Mike, and you're just exactly like Brad Keselowski. He's impressed with how well that car has drive off right now on those older tires. Yes, they're a different pit cycle, hoping that it all cycles out so they're back up front, but that track position really has paid off.
You know what else I think's paid off, Larry? You see what's on the hood of that car? How many of those are out there?
Basically, Penske is Dodge, Dodge is Penske.
Yesterday, Penske's cars 1 and 2, Dodges. Today, I mean, if you don't have anybody to compare to, you know, engine-wise, car-wise, or anything else, you're almost on an island by yourself. Sometimes that's bad.
Sometimes it's good.
Hey, boys, we're going short track racing again next week. Look at there, Martinsville.
Play Earl's paperclip.
My second favorite track.
You know, Mike and Darrell, this car I've been watching closely since the drop of the green flag. Greg Biffle in that 16. Now, Keselowski is our biggest mover since the drop of the green, but it was through strategy. But this race car here, Greg Biffle, he started 25th, Steve. He's about to crack the top 5.
He sure is, Larry. He says the car is really good and he can run the bottom of the racetrack. These cooler temperatures, overcast skies are helping him a great deal.
Well, Darrell, you said it in the pre-race. You feel like that he's the closest of our guys that's not won in a long time to get to victory lane. But look at this wad here.
None of these guys are going to win if they keep racing like that. Holy smoly. 20's got a problem, it looks like. Krista.
Yeah, remember, he was too loose at the start of this race. They tightened him up, and they went too far. Joey falling off the pace, complaining of a very tight race car.
You can pretty much see it right there. He can't get in the throttle and stay. And look at David Rudiman. He's all over this 24 car of Gordon now for third.
I'll tell you, Rudiman and even Marcos Ambrose, you know, they both had incredible runs here. Joey just got a punt there down the front straightaway by that green car. I think, is that Carl?
Carl Edwards, yeah. And Joey cannot get out of the way.
No, he's kind of a moving chicane, and here comes everybody. Not his fault. They went too far on the adjustment.
This is when it gets ugly.
And he's going to need a he's going to need a caution and hope not to be a caution.
And you know, it's one of the biggest fears, I think, of a team, especially a crew chief, is if you're a little bit off on that first run when you take the green flag and the track kind of is green, is jumping the fence with your adjustment, panicking with the adjustment.
Rudiman and Gordon for third.
It's just amazing to me how quickly running pretty good, and all of a sudden you can't drive it.
That's what's happened to our pole sitter Logano as David Rudiman takes third from Jeff Gordon. Closing in on 100 of 500 laps at Bristol. You're watching NASCAR on Fox, presented by GoDaddy.com.
You're watching NASCAR on Fox.